some awesome burgers. We had mac and cheese, which was some unnecessary carbohydrates, but we had some mac and cheese, but it was gourmet mac and cheese with lobster. That was good. And we had some asparagus off the grill.
Yeah, that was tasty.
That was nice.
Yeah, grilled asparagus is fantastic.
And I got these monster fillets. They're 2 pounds each of salmon. 2 pounds each.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and we're gonna cook them on boards. And we got
They still have the skin on them?
on the backside, I think.
That's
they
my
do.
favorite part is the skin.
So we're stocked up on the. Yeah, we're gonna. If I'm gonna turn that eating up, I'm gonna do it right. I'm not eating a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've been eating a lot of ground beef.
I changed my
It's
diet
cheap.
all around too.
You get
Yeah.
like 15 meals out of like one of those like whatever 7 or 8 pound packages. You just eat that shit all day. We gotta eat so much hamburger I can shit out a baby calf. I haven't watched Conor Murphy in a while, and last I knew he was like doing all right, you know, making videos on the beach and all this other shit, and then he kind of lost his physique a little bit. Then he's bringing his physique back, and I mean, probably like a year or a year and a half since I've seen one of his videos. I didn't really understand. If anything, that video I watched where he was gonna drink the divine man shake or whatever the fuck he called it or whatever, is that just for views? Did he make that
I don't
just
know.
for views? It almost looked like.
Well,
it was,
whose jism was it?
Did you watch the other
I
one?
didn't. I couldn't watch any of
Yeah,
it anymore.
apparently one of his friends that like lives in a castle or something.
Like
this is
fucking
like
Count Dracula.
Yeah, it's a castle.
Glad the impaler's trying to impale him, all right. You're trying to impale him, all
Right.
right. Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Busy week at work. Busy week. Had a busy day today. Knocked some work out. Got some salmon for dinner. Salmon, some potatoes, some other stuff. I'm going to put it on the grill, and I am going to cook it on a plank. So my plank is still soaking in water. Let me show you, and I'll show you what the salmon looks like. There's the plank. I just got this holding it down. There's the delicious salmon. There's the awesome, awesome salmon. Okay. That's beautiful, isn't it? There's a 2 pound piece of salmon. Earl's got him a pretty badass survival knife. It's got all kind of crazy shit on it, even a little flashlight.
Yeah, you know what we missed last night too?
What?
A magnesium striker.
Oh, it's got a magnesium rod stuck in the back of it that removes. You had to have it sent here. You ordered it, sent it here because New York, they wouldn't send it to New York. Isn't that
They
some
wouldn't
shit?
send it to New York because it's like a foldable. It folds out. You can't purchase through Amazon anyway. There might have been another.
You can't get it because it's a folding knife?
Yeah, because it folds out.
Huh.
And they said something about the
4
batteries
inches or something.
in
3
the
inches.
fucking flashlight part too.
Odd, huh?
And I'm like, this is like insane. Like you can't get anything in New York. They don't want you to have anything.
We got dinner on the
Oh
grill.
fuck yeah! Oh, smell that wood.
Yeah. Yeah. Real quick, Burl was just telling a story of Cyclops. So, Burl, what's that story? Who's Cyclops?
Cyclops was Justin. What was his last name too? Leone, Justin Leone, and he had a lazy eye, and like you know, sometimes people pick on you because of whatever. So I started calling him Cyclops, and then it was like a super cool nickname for him, and everybody was calling him Cyclops. And he did the same thing Danny did. He used to open fucking bottles with his teeth, and like I want to say he used to eat glass sometimes. He would do all sorts of crazy
That's
shit.
nuts. That is crazy.
Yeah. So.
That's like, well, let me back that out of there, Jesus. I'll give you guys a heart attack. It's like a horror movie on Friday night. Yeah, there was this dude that moved like he had been hit in he had a bad accident, and he had a traumatic brain injury to the degree where everything he did was slow. And he spoke like that, and he walked very slowly to the point where he wouldn't even come out of the house, because if he just walked up the street, you know, he felt like people were making fun of him and people were pointing him out, staring at him and shit because of the way he moved and stuff. So he started hanging around me and McVicker. And so I don't even remember how we met him, but I gave him the nickname Flash, or maybe Jeff gave him the nickname Flash. I don't know which one of us did, but sure called him Flash because he moved so slowly. So we kind of took him under our wing, and he trained with us for like a year. And you know, that's when I discovered for myself and realized, I mean, it might be known science, but it was new to me, that it's the repetitive movement that the brain rewires. And just like when you first start to work out and you develop those neurological
I was about
pathways,
to say that, yeah.
same deal. And after a year, I shit you not, he fucking walked across the room and you wouldn't even be able to pick him up from anybody else. He walked like a normal guy. He moved like a normal person. Only very once in a while he might have like a little something in his step, but other than that, a little hitch in his step. But nah, you wouldn't even be able. If you knew that guy I'm talking about was here, you couldn't pick him out. You know, he was like a normal guy. And the amazing thing is, even his speech.
Yeah.
Even his speech, dude.
All you got to do is provide the brain with the stimuli, and it'll find the neurological pathway. It'll rewire, you know, whatever it is. But you have to add a stimulus. So, you know, they have people that have those TBIs and then just leave them in like a wheelchair or something. But if you stimulate, then your brain, that's what it naturally wants to do. It will find another pathway to make that shit work. You have so many, millions of nerve endings and shifts. Even if half of them got burned out, you got the other half left to.
Yeah, the brain will just find another way to get the job done. Just rewire, man. You have to provide
a stimulus. If you don't provide, it's not just going to do it on its own. You have to make it.
And that's why the weightlifting is so good.
Right.
Because even if you know, it's not a matter how much weight you're lifting. To a lot of men, just getting to be in there, lifting a weight, being a part of something, some camaraderie, and working out, it's more like they could be doing anything, but it's easier for them to continue the weight training because they do make progress and they see that. Even if they start out there only lifting a little bar, like a 20-pound bar or something, it doesn't matter. It's still like a manly, it's more of a, they regain their manhood more or less. And at the same time, they're not going to always be lifting that 20-pound bar, you know? And very quickly, I mean, I would think a year from the shape that he was in to a year, that was like a miracle. Yeah, but since then, I've trained and worked with a lot of people of all kind of backgrounds and things. And man, the progress that people make, even if it's not just always physical progress, which it always is, you know, but TBIs, it works miracles with TBI. But then it's just good for the spirit anyway, you know, morale for the spirit, man, of anybody. You know, it's just, it's awesome, you know.
You don't always have to work out to just to look like Arnold. There's plenty of other reasons why you should go to the gym, you know. There's plenty of other reasons.
I mean, we had, you remember the dude at Retro? Did you ever meet the young guy that had Downs to come in with his dad? You remember him?
Yeah, I think, what are we talking about?
Yeah, and I used to talk to him all the time and get him to flex the bicep and shit. Yeah, he come in with his dad all the time. You know, he trained, we used to have those Sundays at Retro. Yeah, in this video, I'm all fucked up here with this. It's Sunday at Retro, and every Sunday, and he would be there. When he first started coming with his dad, I would, you know, like acknowledge that he's there. Like, hey, man, how you doing, brother? And he was like taken aback a little bit because I guess he doesn't have a lot of that interaction from strangers or something out in public. But then, like, very quickly, he grew into it, man, and he would, you know, speak to me and wave to me, you know, and he had that smile, that recognition when he saw any of us. And, you know, got to the point where I'd be like, hey, man, hit that bicep shot. And he'd hit it. But he was training in about 2 years. You know, when you hear somebody's got Downs, you can picture pretty much in your mind basically what that looks like, how that manifests itself in your physical appearance. After like 2 years, dude, he looked like Tom Cruise or some shit, man. His face was chiseled, he was chiseled. I mean, it was crazy.
Confidence back.
He come in with his dad all the time. I mean, he loved it, but he also, I'm sure that he grew from that social aspect of it too, you know, the interaction, that positive interaction, and yeah, reinforcement.
Yeah, confidence.
Yeah, people are people. You don't never know who is trapped inside of those bodies. No matter what the person's got. I know another person, a young lady, and she has, what the hell does she have? Muscular dystrophy. And now what it's done to her is, when you talk to her, it's very difficult to understand her, especially if you're on the phone. She gets very excited and animated. It's very difficult to understand her. And you would be tempted to think, I'm talking to somebody that mentally is a child. But no, if she sits down and writes something, she writes like an English major. I mean, she's all there. She's all there. So it must hurt all the more. She's super aware and cognizant, like any normal person, very intelligent. But when you just would speak to her, see the way she moves and talks, you know, I'm sure people write her off. And it must be very frustrating and painful, you know. So the point is, if you're out there and you've had some kind of terrible misfortune, an accident, or maybe you were born a little different than everybody else, or whatever it is, maybe fate had it that you know, you had some kind of illness or something's going on that has put you in a situation where you think that you're like extremely limited. Don't write yourself off. I can't even sit here and recount off the top of my head how many incidences and how many people I know that have come back and surpassed, you know, I mean, just are unrecognizable as far as looking at them and saying, oh, that person has a disability or something, that you would never know it. I mean, they're still dealing with things, you know, personally. I mean, they know what's going on, if they're in pain or whatever they have going on, but through the training and the discipline of the regimentation and you know, it's cathartic emotionally and psychologically as well, and the camaraderie. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's huge, really restorative, extremely beneficial. So, you know, don't think that you can't until you try, and then you're going to be pleasantly surprised and find out that you can. And remember, small steps to the moon. I have another buddy, builds custom motorcycles. His bikes, I mean, he's getting up there now in age, just like myself, but you know, back in the day, his bikes were an easy rider, centerfold spreads of his bikes and stuff like that. And he's in a wheelchair. And after I don't know how long, I was in his shop one day, and he was excited to tell me that he can move his toes now. Could move a couple toes. For a guy that was considered paralyzed and had been in a wheelchair in this terrible, horrible accident, for him to start to regain some kind of feeling and movement, that's small steps to the moon, man. That's a landmark, you know, piece of progress there, man. That's incredible. So don't underestimate people, man, and don't underestimate indomitable spirit and will. You know, don't quit on you. Like I've said umpteen times, you have got to be your own biggest supporter. Don't wait for the world to give you the nod. You know what I mean? Do your own thing. You know, I was an outcast, misfit. You know, I had leg braces and shit as a kid, and you know, I was not cool. And as a kid, it's kind of matters that you would like to be cool, probably. And at one point, I just decided, you know what? I don't need to be anybody else's version of cool, because I've kind of surpassed that, and I make what's cool. You know, I do what's cool. You know, but you have to feel that way, man. It's not arrogance or ego. You have to be your own biggest fucking cheerleader. You have to. There it is, plated up. Look at that colorful plate. Look at that beauty. I know lighting here is not that great. Look at that. Yeah.
Smells awesome.
We got this lighting going.
Let's try this sample.
All right, I'm sitting down and chowing. Hope you guys are having a great dinner at home. Bon appetit.